Hey, Vaughn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right.
Call this work session of the Scottsboro City Council to order. Invocation given by Mr. Gary Stewart and pledge led by Mr. Keith Smith.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the very many blessings you've given us. We ask now that you watch over these proceedings and let them be pleasing in your sight. We ask that you watch over the citizens and all the workers from the Scottsboro. Please watch over our military, bring them home safely to their families. Guard, guide, and direct us, so in the end we may all come to thee. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the work session this evening is discuss four-way stop at Apple Tree and South Houston Street. We discussed this last week. Is there any further discussion from the council? Being none, we'll set that on the agenda for this evening. Next is discuss resolution to apply for grants with Goose Pond Colony for boat ramp extension. Again, we discussed this somewhat last week. There was some information left in your packets. Does anyone have any questions, concerns concerning this? And again, this would be to apply for the grant. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Two different grants. You've got some updated budget numbers, but one is through the Land Water Conservation Fund, and the other one is through the Recreational Trails Program.
So we don't know what our commitment for these grants would be at this time. We're just applying for them.
The Land Water Conservation is a 50-50, and the Recreational Trails is an 80-20. But on the city umbrella side, that includes Goose Pond, and we have reached out to TVA for assistance, the county, legislative delegation.
But
And
again,
the in-kind.
we're not making a financial commitment.
No, sir.
At this time, we're applying for a grant.
And it's about a 9-month process, just in the application part.
And if nobody has any other questions, I already have that set for the agenda this evening.
Okay.
And third is discuss resolution and agreement with Aldott for Clemens Road project. That project bids, I believe, will be open this week, and we'll need a resolution to open those bids. We have benefited from some extra funding from that grant that has gotten. I'd seen some preliminary numbers last week that was going to make it difficult for us, but we believe that we've got some additional funding from other projects in the county. Is that correct?
Senator Livingston called me the other night, said we'd be getting a call or some more information. This past Friday we got a call, and then Josh got a fax, and we picked up an additional, I think it's $790,000 towards the project.
So we haven't opened those bids yet, but we believe our budget number is going to be back in line with our original estimate.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and again, I have that set for this evening. Does anyone else have any questions or comments concerning that?
How many culverts does this, you have any idea? It's like 12
And the conversation that I had this afternoon with Josh and the mayor, the causeway, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but the causeway going down through there will be taken down the base and built up an additional, because that road has a little dip down through there, right? It'll be built up and maintained down through there. Any other questions or comments?
Where is the projected start happening?
Well, the bid opening is Friday, and gosh,
Probably April, May.
it'll take a couple of months just to get all the documentation in place.
we don't want to be caught in rainy season like we were with the former project, right? Anyone else? All right, we'll take a 2-minute recess and move into a council meeting. With the formalities, Ms. Phillips, we can call roll, please.
Ms. Butler? Here. Mr. Patrick Stewart?
Here.
Mr. Gary Stewart?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Wallace?
Here. You have a copy of the agenda in your packet. There's one addition. Number 3 will be resolution to erect a 4-way stop sign at Apple Tree and Houston Street. I'll hear a motion to approve agenda is read.
I make that motion.
Mr. Patrick Stewart makes the motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Mr. Gary Stewart seconds. Any discussion? All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You have a copy of previous minutes from January 8th in your packet. I'll hear a motion to approve minutes as written.
Okay.
Mr. Smith makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Butler seconds. Any discussion? All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No old business. We'll move to new business. First is consider resolution to apply for grants with Goose Pond Colony for boat ramp extensions. I'll hear a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Smith makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Patrick Stewart seconds. Any discussion? All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Second is consider resolution and agreement with AlDOT for Clemens Road project. I'll hear a motion to approve the resolution.
Make that motion.
Mr. Gary Stewart makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Butler seconds. Any discussion? All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And third is to approve a resolution erecting a 4-way stop at Apple Tree and South Houston Street. I'll hear a motion to approve the resolution.
I make that motion.
Mr. Patrick Stewart makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Gary Stewart seconds. Is there any discussion?
When will this take place if it passes? How will we get people to notice?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to coordinate it and then, yeah, give them notice.
The police department normally gives them some time after they do that.
That's up to you, what kind of time you want to give them, 30 days, 90 days before we enforce it.
I would say 30 would be ample.
Well, and I think too, is there a way we can put a temporary flashing light or some type of warning out there? Because if somebody's not used to that,
We can put up some stop ahead signs back each way from the intersection there. I think we've got some flashing lights, we'll try to put on those.
it's just something till people get used to that being a stop sign. I don't want somebody coming down through there and somebody at the other intersection thinking that somebody's gonna stop and they blow through there just because they're.
Maybe we can get some good press on that too.
Well, press, I don't know about good.
Hey, I heard you. Say it right here.
Before we start enforcing it, any kind of time frame you guys have in mind?
30 days?
Something reasonable. I don't have a problem, just don't need to go out there the next day and
No.
write a ticket. I don't think we ever did that.
I would think that we would leave that to the chief and the mayor's discretion.
I wasn't suggesting
something
time, I
within-
just suggested
Sure.
practice.
So something within reason.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, any other,
Yeah, one more
Yes.
thing. Let's remind everybody why we're doing this.
chief, you want to speak to that?
Well, I've had a grandfather come see me that is raising several grandkids. They play in the front yard very close to that spot. And there's been some, I guess, close calls, plus we have the group home that sits between Apple Tree and Peach Tree, and those residents get outside a lot when the weather is conducive to that, and they like to walk, and it's, if you look from Willow Street to Charlotte, there is no stop sign at all. And so cars tend to get up I guess, a faster rate of speed. And this is just to help break that down.
Okay. I thought it was kind of funny. Today, my wife and I were coming from 5 Points and came down and turned left on the street east of Scott Street. And there's none on it for the whole length, because she said she goes to some kind of class up there a lot. She found that she goes that way, she never has to stop at the stop sign. She goes down Scott Street, and every street's got a stop
Are
sign.
you talking about Kyle?
Kyle.
Yeah. Not a stop sign one.
Yeah.
I just wondered how we came about picking this one.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yes, sir.
I guess that means that someone lives on Kyle Street, and when they'd be calling us soon, probably. If there's.
Well, this is four-way two, and the others would be three-way. Three. Yeah, three-way. Except the Laurel.
Or maybe.
Yes, sir. Either way.
Yeah, I just curious.
Sure.
Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, all in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There are no delegations. Before we move to individual reports, I had set a committee to discuss retirement incentives. Mr. Smith, Ms. Stewart, do you want to give us a preliminary report from your committee meeting?
Yes, we met, Mr. Stewart and I and the mayor and the personnel director, and we talked at the time about the possibility of doing this, what it would entail, and all this is, from this group, is just a suggestion to the council. It's not anything in concrete. But we finally came up with what we considered a reasonable amount, which would be $500 a year, but no time limit on how many years you get it. So if you work for the city 25, you get 25. If you work 35, you get 35. You have to be vested, of course, and just like you would if you were retiring. And also, Mr. Stewart came up with an idea that we talked about, and we didn't disagree with him. He wanted to mention that, so if you would, Mr. Stewart, if you would mention what you're talking about there.
Okay, thank you. It was just very sporadic on the years or the incentives that had been given in the past, like in 1998, there was one given, 2004, 2009, and 2014. And I just think it would be fair, and take the politics out of it as well, if it was done every 2 years, or every 3 years, or whatever, so it was set up in that way, then they would know what they would get based on those years of service, and if it was an even year or an odd year. Did I leave anything out?
No, one more thing, we talked about it quite a while back, and we gave people hope, and then we just kind of let it lay there. And so that's why we talked about it earlier last week in this committee, and now tonight, is that we needed to do whatever it is we needed to do. We don't need to just let it lay. Either pass it, don't pass it, whatever. But they don't need to have to wait any longer. Some people not want to retire, some may want to wait. But if we're not going to do it, then they want to go ahead. And if we are going to do it, they want to wait till that point. So I think it's important. And what Patrick is talking about, I think that deserves consideration and at least discussion, which would take this waiting thing out of it.
We talked about it like if it was a resolution that was effective on even number of years, then if it was passed, then people could plan, and if you've got I guess one of the things we threw out there, if you've got a kid going to college or fixing to get a car or turn 16 in a year or two, you can plan, and if you want to retire with this incentive, you can, and you know how much money to calculate instead of it being, like Patrick said, just a political decision at the time. And, there was a concern about the money, but if you go back and look at the 4 years that it was offered, I think the highest number, wasn't it 98, it was like 8 out of 13 people, and in 2014, 11 out of 20 took the incentive. So it's never been 100%. I think there's, based on the calendar, or the fiscal year this year, there's 31 employees that are eligible somehow, some way in the retirement system. But that number, every 2 years as people retire, the number of employees in that basket, if you will, that number will diminish over time also because of the way the Tier 2 is set up.
Is Mr. Will here tonight? It's my understanding that by doing this, and the people who take it, by replacing them with a salary which is less, that over a period of time, this money comes back to the city. In other words, we don't lose the total amount of all the money we pay. It kind of breaks even somewhere along the way. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Another thing that we had, when Aaron calculated and sent you the information, everybody has different retirement dates, and not everybody retires on their anniversary date, or, you know, some may leave with X number of years and so many months. So with this, if it was adopted or whatever, it would be staggered instead of, you know, a 30-day window or a 60-day window for employees to take advantage of an incentive. It would be basically on the books. If, I think, Mr. Kimber, a resolution could be done, something like that, couldn't it?
It would probably be better to do it in the form of ordinance.
Okay.
You'd have to end it, wouldn't you, at a certain date, I mean, a certain time frame, like 90 days or 6 months, or, if you don't, we're doing it forever.
The thing is, if it's odd and even years in the future, that's,
But if we don't go there.
if you don't go that direction, it
Yeah.
can be done by resolution. If you go in that direction, it would need to be done by ordinance.
Okay. But that way you staggered out the money you pay out as well. Just a lot to think about.
Let me set this for a work session so we can have more open discussion about this. We're going to put it on February 5th, and since we can't meet with the group outside of that, if you'll get with me and let's have some discussions about how to put some framework around that, and perhaps we can, you're correct, we need to either make a decision on this or one way or the other. So I'll set that on the work session for February 5th, and maybe we can do some work on it between now and then, okay? With that being said, I will say, since we talked about police cars last week, I've had an opportunity this week to speak with some other municipal leaders. I, as Chief Dog, had reported, I've found it difficult to find anybody that's running their police cars with the practice known as hot seating in the area. I talked with personnel with Fort Payne this week. They happened to be in my office, and we discussed this with them. He says they moved away from that practice several years ago, and believes that they've seen a benefit from that. So if we're going to look at doing this, though, we're going to talk about this a good bit before we do this, and at some point we will probably hold a public hearing in relation to it to have some input from the general public on this. But we will continue to work on that plan. With that, individual reports, Mr. Mayor.
I just wanted to introduce Margaret, better known as Meg Nippers, our new marketing coordinator. First council meeting for her. She's been to Chamber Board meeting and Goose Pond Board meeting, but this is her first council meeting.
Welcome aboard. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Butler?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Stewart?
Yeah, I have something. Josh Sherlin asked for me to cover about the life resource services of Jackson County. I just want to thank the community as a whole for continued support. As many of you know, they have been super busy serving the homeless individuals since the huge COVID front had come through. As of December the 4th, the Life Center had served 22 adults, including children in the county. With Life's mission, we have helped our clients obtain food identification such as IDs, birth certificates, social security cards, as well as employment, clothing, and shelter, doctor's appointments, and are working on getting their clients housing. And they just appreciate the support. And since then, the other day at the Goose Pond board meeting, they covered a few other topics as well. I think that they're getting some help from other individuals, and it's just something that they wanted to share with us, and just thanking everyone for their support, and they need help. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. I appreciate you bringing that up. Mr. Gary Stewart?
I'd just like to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's nice to see a nice large crowd. I hope and wish that more people would get involved, come to our city council meetings. We need public interaction with that. I think they really help us make decisions. We appreciate you being here, and hope you all have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Smith?
I just like to say I'm proud that the federal government's up and running tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Just two things. One, I appreciate Mr. Blizzard and his folks and the work they did on our roads the last couple of weeks. I wasn't real happy last week following a street sweeper down County Park Road on my way home, but I sure was proud of it the next morning when I didn't have to slide down that hill. And I think across the county, I had an occasion to be over in Fort Payne during that time, and across the county, they did a real good job of keeping our roads in good condition. And I appreciate Mr. Stewart bringing up the Life Resource Center. I've been slacking and thanking those folks for the work that they're doing over there. And finally, there'll be no meeting next Monday night. Next Monday is the 5th Monday, and we will not have a meeting then. We'll have a work session on February 5th. Anyone else have anything to come before the council? If not, I'll have entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Mr. Gary Stewart makes a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Mr. Smith seconds. All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.